We begin with the fate of the nation's abortion law.
Politico has obtained a leaked draft opinion indicating the Supreme Court will strike down Roe versus Wade. Reaction on all sides have been swift, including from the president.
If this decision holds, it's really quite a radical decision. All the decisions relating to your private life, who you marry, whether or not you decide to conceive a child or not, whether or not you can have an abortion, a range of other decisions, whether or not how you raise your child. What does this do? And does this mean that in Florida they can decide they're going to pass a law saying that same-sex marriage is not permissible? It's against the law in Florida. So there's it's a fundamental shift in American jurisprudence.
Chief Justice John Roberts also released a statement. In it, he calls the leak a betrayal and breach of trust, but says it will not impact the operations of the court. Justice Roberts says he has directed the marshal of the court to investigate the leak. The court confirmed the document is authentic, but says it does not represent a decision nor the final position of any justice. The majority opinion in favor of striking down abortion was written by Justice Samuel Alito. As written, it has the backing of 4 other conservative justices.
Well, in the draft, Justice Alito writes, quote, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. Joining us now is CBS News chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford. Jan, welcome. Certainly a bombshell morning. For years, Jan, as you know, there has been a lot of talk of the Supreme Court potentially deciding to heavily restrict abortion, ban it after 15 weeks, but not outright overturn it. Now, right now, we should stress this is still a draft, but what is the significance of a potential outright ban? And I guess, you know, the obvious and pressing question is, what does it mean for women who would seek abortions?
Well, if the Supreme Court votes to overturn Roe versus Wade, which certainly this draft opinion that was published in February suggests that it was ready to do at that point. If they go ahead and make that the final decision, that would send the issue of abortions back to the individual states. It would be up to the states to decide how they wanted abortion rights to be handled within their borders. So the elected officials could vote to ban it, to restrict it, or to say we are going to allow it in all cases. And that means that it depends on where you live, the kind of access to abortion that you would have. If you live in some of these kind of Republican-leaning or more conservative states, odds are right now, based on the laws that we're seeing being passed already, hoping for this ruling, that you're going to have a greatly restricted opportunity for abortion, and you may end up driving a long way to a more liberal-leaning state that allows abortion access.
So, Jan, what are the odds? I gather they are slim, but what are the odds of any justice changing his or her mind before the opinion becomes official? Because, you know, we all remember especially the newer justices, they were grilled on specifically this point by senators. I'm thinking of Kavanaugh and Coney Barrett, and both seem to indicate that they accepted Roe v. Wade as established law.
Well, actually, they stated during those hearings pretty much boilerplate definitions. You know, like Roe is precedent. Roe is settled law. I mean, that is true until a Supreme Court says that it's not. And they were appellate court judges then, so they were, in that role, bound by whatever the Supreme Court decided. It was pretty stock answers at the time. It meant nothing at the time. And as you can see, now that there are justices on the Supreme Court, justices often take another look at cases. They overturn cases occasionally. This one, of course, would be one of the more seismic in the court's history. The chances of them changing their vote, justices do change their vote. It's not unusual, but what they do often change is the draft of an opinion. When an opinion is released, it gets circulated to the chambers, and then the justices can weigh in. They can say, I don't agree with that paragraph, or I don't like this section. And so it's, in some ways, this draft from February could be the beginning of this process to get to the final decision. Now, justices have changed their mind in abortion cases before. The last time the court was poised to overturn Roe versus Wade was back in 1992. 5 justices voted to overturn Roe versus Wade. The Chief Justice then, William Rehnquist, wrote a majority decision. Within days of him circulating that decision, Justice Anthony Kennedy said he had had a change of heart. He could not go along with the majority. He pulled back his vote, and as a result, Roe was not overturned in 1992. Will that happen in 2022? We don't know, and we won't know until we see the final opinion.
Jan, several states, as you know, have voted to change, or as you mentioned, are considering changing their laws if Roe versus Wade is in fact overturned. And if it is, what would it mean for those states?
Well, those states, if they vote now to say, like Texas we've seen, or Oklahoma, and there's more than a dozen states that already had in place so-called trigger laws that would ban abortion when Roe was eventually overturned. Then you're seeing other states now pass laws saying that, that would take effect if Roe is overturned as well. So, you've got more than a dozen states already prepared to ban abortion if the court goes this step and takes this decision. That would mean that if you're a woman in those states, you're going to have to drive to another state where abortion would be legal to get to get the procedure done. So it also means that the issue would become one for elected officials. And so if you don't like what your elected officials are doing in Texas or Florida or wherever, then you presumably could become pretty galvanized to go out and vote, and we'll see how some of the politicians fare come November.
Yeah, it's an interesting additional issue to be inserted into the midterms at this juncture. All right, Jan Crawford, thank you so much.
Thank you.